Good morning, everyone. So today I want to take a second and talk to you about one of my co-founders, Dr. Jerry Simmons, who is my Chief Scientific Officer at BioSymm Technologies. It's been a connection of mine for many years. So I met Jerry online on LinkedIn several years ago as part of my whole health journey. So as detailed in that podcast I linked in yesterday's video, I came across the whole metabolic health space in early 2018, where I had to face up to some of my own health challenges and basically realized that the mainstream paradigm had failed me miserably and that there must be a better way out there. So I came across the ketogenic nutrition space, and that worked fantastic for me. And along the journey of starting to share my thoughts and experiences, post about the things that I was, sort of the self-experimentation I was doing, and the results that was yielding, and starting to really develop a passion for it and starting to advocate for other people to at least experiment with the same, at least give low carb keto a try. I came across Dr. Simmons on LinkedIn. He connected with me, liked some of the stuff that I'd been sharing. And he had actually been sharing for years already. He's been a medical doctor for over 40 years now. So 40 years of clinical practice. That's as long as I've been alive. The man has been in clinical practice as an MD here in the UK. He's won multiple awards. But the thing that impresses me most about Jerry is that he switched on to the fact that metabolic health underpins the totality of your physical and mental health. He switched on to that the yonks ago, way back. It's quite remarkable if you think about it. For someone who came into the profession in the mid-80s, that was sort of right in the thick of the anti-saturated fats, anti-meat sort of movement that had stemmed out of the 60s and 70s. Like it was at that stage the dome was set. So for Jerry to have realized that something was off coming through that sort of space and into the 2000s, the 2010s, and into the 2020s, to watch his transformation, if you can imagine that, into realizing that, well, actually the mainstream advice around metabolic health is completely off. There's so many people are getting sicker and sicker, people are getting fatter and fatter, more and more unhealthy. And there's a multitude of reasons. Don't get me wrong, it's not just diet by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I would say that the totality of modern lifestyle is fundamentally at odds with human biology and the signals that our biology, that very cells, are expecting from a lifestyle input perspective. But by the by, nutrition is one of the most important ones because it's the most logical entry gateway. Everyone eats, everyone has to eat. So Jerry has been posting some fantastic stuff around nutrition and metabolic health for a long time. He's also got a really good handle on stress management. So one of his areas of specialty is occupational health. So again, plays perfectly into the whole high-performing professionals nutrition thing, because there's an element in modern life and modern business, modern career, modern work, the things that we do now. Like, we're not doing the old school physical manual subsistence focused stuff to gather food, gather firewood, blah blah blah, to then look after ourselves. We're doing other work, like non-biologically consistent work, non-evolutionarily consistent work. It might be a better way to phrase that. We're doing things that haven't been around for that long, and the way that we're doing them is fundamentally at odds with our biology. And Jerry's cotton onto that. He's got a really good focus on the stress management and then the metabolic health aspect through the nutrition lens. But it was only earlier this year, so early 2025, that I had the idea to approach Jerry for this, for getting involved with BioSymm Technologies. In fact, I first launched my podcast back at the end of March 2025. And I'd invited Jerry because we'd been connected for a long time. I invited him to be one of my first guests. Then sat down and did an episode with him. Editing the episode, looking it back, I'd been playing with the idea of this AI app in my mind for quite a while before I actually took steps to make it happen. And I remember it clearly. I was editing the video of Jerry and myself, our podcast episode together, and I thought to myself, this is a good guy to have on board. Like this is someone who would add a tremendous amount of value. But then that imposter syndrome sort of creeps in, and I thought to myself, nah, like why would he be interested in me? Like, he's been doing this for as long as I've been alive. He's tremendously successful. He has his own thought leadership stuff. Jerry writes the Metabolic MD newsletter, both on LinkedIn and Substack. So he does a lot of thought leadership in that space. Like, tremendously successful in his own right. Why would he want to join forces with me and then do my thing? And so I sat on it for a while. Then eventually I got over myself and thought, you know what, the worst he can do is say no. Let me just ask the question. And I invited him and took a few attempts, but we managed to find a convenient slot and jumped on a call together. And I just presented the idea to him. He's like, Jerry, this is what I do. AI-powered nutrition coaching into the whole of metabolic health. Gave him an overview, and he was sold from the first minute. He was like, yes, I'm on board. Let's make this happen. This is brilliant. And I was absolutely taken back by that. And fast forward to today, and yeah, here we are. Founder and CEO. Jerry's one of my co-founders. He's a chief scientific officer. He's bringing that pedigree of medical knowledge, clinical experience, and then that laser focus on metabolic health, and making sure that everything that we base our coaching on, everything that our AI coach uses from a nutrition and metabolic health standpoint, is absolutely on target with the hard evidence from biology. Try again in English. From a biology perspective, evolutionarily consistent biology perspective, really make sure that we hold ourselves to the highest possible standard, which is fantastic, and I love that about him. So he's a really, really good man to pay attention to. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for him. Obviously, I've invited him to be part of this journey. I think he has a tremendous amount to offer. And yeah, so what I'll do is, in the video description here, I've put in the links to where you can find Jerry, both his Substack, Metabolic MD, and his LinkedIn profile, so you can check him out in a bit of finer detail as well. Really a top quality guy, someone I think is a very good man to have in your corner from a metabolic health standpoint, someone whose thought leadership I highly respect. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little lowdown on one of my founders. Thanks, everyone.